Hey guys, welcome back to the channel, and today we're going to be reacting to
The Yakuza, Mafia of Japan.
This video is brought to you by Magellan TV, the documentary streaming membership service founded by filmmakers bringing you premium content, diving deep into the Hentai exclusive
This
playlist
looks
and events
like
that made Hentai Day Massacre 4K.
oh, I thought the cartoons, it reminds me of South Park.
Oh, what's that ad?
/simple history of the Yakuza. Criminal organization.
The way they're drawn?
Yeah.
Yes, they kind of give, like,
It's 2D.
yeah. It gives.
17th to the 21st century. The Yakuza are members of a Japanese crime syndicate that
It's their eyes that gives that South Park.
were founded back in the 17th century during the mid-Edo period.
Have you heard of this Mafia?
They very much see
Yakuza?
Mm-hmm.
Of course, you haven't?
Mm-mm.
Oh, yeah, Yakuza and the triads, Chinese triads, yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, and then, Russian bratva, of course.
themselves as a
Why, of
Ninkyo
course?
Dantai, a chivalry.
I mean, these are the biggest mafias in the
Oh,
world.
these like brother, of course, like you know them.
No, it's the biggest mafias.
Organization
know
that prides
the
itself on tradition,
Yakuza.
family,
Really?
and
Do you not watch movies?
What movie is in?
I don't know, like all the movies, whenever there's like
For Asian like mafia groups, I only know Rush Hour.
yeah, and I think the Russia
That was
Yakuza.
based on the Yakuza.
I think Yakuza or the Triads,
Inspired?
one of the
Oh.
like in those kind of movies, yeah, like it's always if you see like an Asian person, it's always either Yakuza or a Triad member.
Oh, I
like,
didn't know
criminal.
that.
maintaining a strict code of conduct. Whereas the Japanese police call them Moryokudan and see them as simply being particularly
Oh, and I guess Italian mafia too.
Oh yeah.
powerful
yeah.
and violent mafia
That's the
style
one
group.
I know the most. I feel like Hollywood glamorized this one,
Yeah.
and then after that, American Gangs. No,
Nah,
yeah,
not
not really.
Not to this level.
Yeah.
The name Yakuza was taken from a popular card game called Oicho Kabu. When drawn together and added up, the cards 8, 9, and 3 equals Yakuza, making the worst possible combination. So Yakuza basically means good for nothing. The Yakuza can be traced to two main groups which originated primarily from the Kyushu Islands, the Tekiya and the Bakuto. The Tekiya were peddlers or traders of illicit goods. The Bakuto were gamblers and were largely involved in gambling houses. The name Yakuza was associated with the Bakuto. At first, these gangs were just seen merely as a dishonest group of delinquents who sold fake and shoddy goods. They began to organize themselves into families with the structure of a father, the Oyabon, and the sons, the Kobon. But by the 19th century, they started to band together and get much more organized, moving into loan sharking, extortion, and running highly effective protection rackets. They soon spread all over Japan and were divided into clans, each with their own head and specializing in
do they exist today or no?
We'll see. I don't know. I'm not sure.
different forms of illegal business. The pyramid-like organizational structure was a complicated one. At the top of the Yakuza syndicate was the Kumicho, also known as the Oyabon, or father, while everyone who follows him were the Kobon, or children. Below the Kumicho are the officers. The first was the Saiko Komon, or senior advisor. He has his own advocates, accountant, and gang of children. Next in the chain of command as number 2 was the Wakagashira, who carries out the orders of the Kumicho and governs several gangs in the region. In the third position was the Shate Gashira, who was the local boss. Foot soldiers below them are the Kyodai, or older brothers, and below them are the Shate, or younger brothers. Under these are the junior leaders, known as the Wakashu. The children can form their own gangs, therefore the entire clan can grow into a large group with a lot of subfamilies. The largest Yakuza family, the Yamaguchi Gumi, was founded about 1915 by Harukichi Yamaguchi in Kobe, Japan, and fully developed after World War II by Kazuo Taoka. By the early 20th century, the Yakuza clans had become powerful male-dominated entities, moving into loan sharking, money laundering, gambling, narcotics, extortion, bribery, smuggling, violence, and running highly effective protection rackets.
Wow.
Alongside this, they ran legitimate
Any crime there is, they're doing it. Everything under the sun.
businesses such as construction, movie studios, nightclubs, security, insurance, and real estate, taking on the form and practices.
It's simple. With
Wow.
Patriot software, you can do your accounting and
Now the
payroll
mafias
in
are
minutes.
moving into like cyber
Purchase-
rackets.
of large corporations.
The credit card fraud, stuff like that. The what's it called? When they lock up your computer with the software and you have to pay a ransom, like a cyber ransom, I think, stuff like that. Yeah.
I can see
Corporation.
how they got rich quickly by putting yourself in construction, real estate, insurance. This
Yeah.
is crazy.
Yeah, because they get the contracts for government contracts.
Yes, yes.
Soon they were making billions and billions of yen a year from a mixture of legal and illegal activities. Yakuza members were usually working class, high school dropouts recruited from common street thugs. They were often descended from Burakumen, an ethnic Korean backgrounds who were outcasts in Japan's history. The Yakuza used a sakazuki to formalize the initiation process of new members into the family, where they must take a blood oath of allegiance. The ritual, often performed at a Shinto shrine, involved the offering of a cup of sake to the initiate and the Yakuza leader known as the Oyabun, and to the gods, a process known as Sakazuki Goto. Sitting face to face, the Oyabun's cup was filled to the brim, while the initiate gets much less to indicate their different status. They had to swear a sacred oath to never reveal the secrets of the organization, to never attack another member's family, to not withhold money from the clan, to not fail to obey orders, and to not be involved with the law or police. And once you join the Yakuza, you are a member for life. For now, they become your family, and absolute loyalty to them was expected always. The Yakuza by now had become very ritualistic, seeing honor and loyalty as extremely important. There were several punishments for breaking the rules and betraying the clan, including lynching, Zetsuen, where the member was removed from the Yakuza family but was allowed to return after some time, and Hamonjo, where the offender was excommunicated and was no longer allowed to associate with or do business with the Yakuza group, banished from the Yakuza world forever. The fourth most famous punishment for an offense was Yubitsume. This is where you were expected to cut off a portion of the little finger on your hand and present it to the head of the organization as a form of sincere apology. Starting with the tip of the pinky and amputating further if more transgressions were committed, Yubitsume worked as a powerful deterrent to betraying the Yakuza family, being both a painful and permanent consequence of doing wrong. It can also be used to avoid a conflict. It is said that this ritual descends from the Bakudo group, where if a person was unable to pay the gambling debt they owed, then Yubitsume worked as a form of repayment. The weakening of the hand diminished a member's ability to handle a sword, as the little finger is used to grip the hilt. This in turn makes the Yakuza member more dependent on the protection of his boss. Group members also wore lapel pins with their headquarters or clan logos. There was also Irezumi, and this was a very important part of Yakuza culture. This was where the member of the group had an elaborate full-body tattoo. Popular designs included dragons, koi, tigers, and snakes. It was an extremely painful and expensive process, carried out by skilled tattooists using sharpened bamboo needles. The process was so intricate that it could take several years to complete.
This is him with tattoos.
The Japanese government during the...
Oh, it looks like a shirt.
It does look like a shirt, but it's a drawing, but I am assuming it's tattoos, yeah.
Meiji period banned tattoos to make a good impression upon the Western powers, so the practice continued underground and soon became associated with criminals. In fact, tattoos would become so strongly linked to the Yakuza that public hot springs and gyms banned customers that had them on their bodies, something that stands today. By the 1970s, Yakuza influence had stretched far and wide within the Japanese society, even extending to the...
If you have tattoos, you're a thug.
Now they're common, very common.
Yeah. I didn't realize how common they were, especially when we were watching Love is Blind, Sweden. Everyone had tattoos. Everybody. If you didn't have one, it's like, it was crazy.
I think when we were watching that, I looked up the stats. It's like over 50% people have tattoos.
It used to be like, unique trait to have. Like, you have a tattoo?
Everybody. Now it's more unique to not have a tattoo.
Highest levels of government, to such an extent that they were implicated in a bribery scandal involving the U.S. Lockheed Company and the Japanese Prime Minister. It is said that Yoshio Kodama, a powerful Yakuza, acted as a consultant and facilitated a $3 million bribe to get the Japanese to buy Lockheed L-1011 TriStar passenger planes and a large number of F-104 Starfighters jet aircrafts.
Wow.
The 1980s saw the Japanese economy boom, driven by massive exports to America and Europe. The Yakuza quickly capitalized on the opportunities this newfound prosperity brought, but this in turn led to infighting amongst the various factions in the Yakuza. Such conflict, though rare, often proved to be incredibly violent, normally short-lived. Worrying for the police on this occasion, it quickly escalated to open, unrestricted warfare, and the factions seemed to care little about who got hurt in the fighting. In the Japanese city of Fukuoka, it got completely out of control, as gun battles between the various factions were becoming commonplace.
I took two things that I love, dancing
That's
and
rough.
dogs,
I didn't
and I
think
made
it
them
was like
into a
that in
successful
Japan.
business.
Millions were becoming hurt or killed on a regular basis. The police
Same
took
in Miami, too. The 80s was rough.
The 80s was
A
the
little,
time.
wow.
Well, in New York, too, the Italian Mafia was
Yeah.
the 80s, yeah.
So when's the right time to be alive?
Not now. Now we got Trump.
a tough stance against the Yakuza, and the subsequent crackdown did not only bring about a public declared truce between the warring factions, but also marked the start of the decline in power and influence of the Yakuza, as the police finally took a proactive approach against them nationwide.
But if you really
By the
think about it, I think that's when the illicit stuff was like very peaking, shipping to this way, that way, everywhere.
Yeah, that was like pre cameras, pre computers, because I feel like once now we have CCTV on every corner. Kind of hard to commit crimes too. So it's a little, and with the computers tracing everything, yeah.
But I do remember one of the kingpins in the Latin market trying to send stuff over to the Europe and Asian market, probably to them.
1990s, the Yakuza had moved with the times and become much more international, having formed alliances with various Korean and extremely violent Vietnamese gangs, as well as the Chinese triads, in the process cornering the Asian market in illegal handguns and human trafficking. Infighting between the Yakuza is rare, as they see it being counterproductive and harmful to their reputation for being a unified group. But in 2007, there was violence between two powerful factions, when one side assassinated Ryoichi Sugiura, a leading senior member of the Sumiyoshi Kai, the second largest Yakuza family, by ambushing his limo using gunmen riding motorcycles. But a strong police crackdown meant the violence never escalated much further. At its peak, the Yakuza clan members could number as many as 250,000, but over the last few decades, their numbers have declined dramatically.
Why he had to go?
I don't know.
I thought you said you know.
He did some shit.
Since 2011, there's been regulations that prohibit business with the Yakuza. Yakuza exclusion ordinances.
So before that, there was no regulations. You could do business.
How can you tell? How can you tell they're Yakuza?
Tattoos, apparently.
Oh.
Which are aimed to eliminate the relationship of citizens with the Yakuza, have also been enacted. Changing attitudes, constant police crackdown, and the introduction of several anti-corruption laws in Japan has affected them badly. But this is not to say they are still not a force to be reckoned with. Having adapted with the times, they have spread overseas to other parts of Asia, as well as America, moving into new developing markets. And in recent years, they have started to realize the importance of PR, and in an attempt to improve their image, were heavily involved in providing disaster relief after the Kobe earthquake of 1995 and the Tohoku tsunami of 2011. This proved highly effective and has done much to increase their popularity in recent years.
What?
That was interesting.
No, I need more. What's going on?
That's it.
Wait.
Is that it?
This cannot be it. I need more.
Why do we have this?
Hey, Simple History fans, if you're looking for a better way to support the channel,
Can you
means
go
that
to
for just
comments? I want to see. I guess for the time, I don't know.
Why do you need the time though?
Maybe to get over 8 minutes?
But first it was at 10-minute mark.
Oh.
So you're telling me they don't breakdance during fistfights, sing sad karaoke, and race toy cars? Everything I do.
Oh, that's Tokyo. What is that? From what movie?
I don't know. Tokyo Drift?
No, I think this is Rush Hour.
I don't know.
Go to the comments for that one.
This one?
Mm-hmm.
They drive fancy cars though. I'm a car enthusiast. Yeah. Not funny. Didn't laugh. Yeah. I don't understand.
Oh.
Yeah. Whatever. That was a long pause when you were expecting more dialogue.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was.
Maybe it was too graphic and had to be cut.
Trivia: the children's show Bob the Builder, we see it in the UK, had to be revised in Japan. In the UK and US versions, Bob had 4 fingers. In Japan, the humans were made to have 5 fingers instead of 4, as a man having 4 fingers indicates their membership with the Yakuza. Ooh, wow.
The more
So,
you know.
The Simpsons, they have 4 fingers, right? I think so.
I don't know.
I think the Simpsons have 4 fingers.
That's a fun fact. I didn't know that.
That
This was so interesting.
Oh, what about the Simpsons? Yeah.
Oh.
No, they didn't. I don't know. Yeah, because the Simpsons have 4 fingers too. Interesting.
I know that.
Okay.
Guys, of course, let us know your thoughts. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Join the Discord. And as always, share as much kindness as possible.